Welcome, students. In the previous class, we were discussing about the drafting of the Indian Constitution. The member of the Constituent Assembly, they took 114 days, spread over a period of 3 years, and at last prepared the Constitution for us. We had also discussed about the sanctity of the Indian Constitution. We have seen many of the countries, they have already changed their constitution, but still today also, after 70 years also, today we are following the same constitution for us. This proves the sanctity of the Indian Constitution. Students, today we are going to discuss about the guiding values of the Indian Constitution. What are the principles, the values which are there incorporated in the constitutions? That is how today also we are following the same constitutions as it is. At this stage, let us begin by understanding the overall philosophy of our constitution. To get the theory of various philosophy, the guiding principle of the Indian Constitution, if you want to get it, if you want to understand it, this will take two ways. Particularly to know the basic philosophy of the Indian Constitution. For that, we are having two ways to know. What are those? What are the two ways? First one, by reading the views of our major leaders on our constitution. And the second one is reading what the constitution says about its own philosophy. These are the two ways. The first one is the views of some major leaders on our constitution, and the second is what the constitution itself say about its own philosophy. That is what they are mentioned in the preamble. The preamble, what is preamble? Preamble is the introductory documents that sets the goal of the government. It is the introductory documents that itself contains the philosophy of its own. That is what preamble is. So, we will know the guiding values of our Indian Constitution. First, by discussing about the views of some of the major leaders on our Constitution. So, for this, we have to go and we have to now see the views of major leaders. The first one, the dream and the promise. Students, you might have noticed in the previous class, we were discussing about the different leaders, those who were the part of the Indian Constituent Assemblies, like T.D. Krishnamachari, the great Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Abul Kalam Azad. But you might have noticed, we have missed a name of the great person of our, missed out a name of the great person of our country. Do you know who is that? Just recall. We have not discussed about the great person, that is Mahatma Gandhi. The person behind the Indian independence. You can say for whom we have got independence today. That is the father of India, Mahatma Gandhi. But he was not a member of the Constituent Assembly. You may be wondering, why the name of Mahatma Gandhi was not there? But that is not the matter. Mahatma Gandhi's name was there or not, that is not the matter. But the matter is, his philosophies are there. The ideology set up by Mahatma Gandhi is visible in the form of in our constitution. Yet, there are many members who followed his vision. Maybe Mahatma Gandhi was not there in the Constituent Assembly, but many of the members, those who were there in the Constituent Assembly, they have followed the vision of Mahatma Gandhi. Years ago, writing in his magazine, Young India, in 1931, he had spelled out what he wanted the Indian Constitution to do. Mahatma Gandhi spelled out his views, his vision about what our Indian Constitution should look like. What principles should be there incorporated in the Indian Constitutions? It was spelled out by Mahatma Gandhi in his magazine called Young India, which was published in 1931. What he has told? I shall strive for a constitution which will release India from all thraldom and patronage. Mahatma Gandhi, he was himself consoling him that I want to have a constitution which will release Indians from the thraldom, subjugation and patronage and favor of anybody else. There will be no subjugation, no favorism, where Indian will be free from thraldom and patronism. I shall work for an India in which the poorest shall live, feel that it is the country in which they wanted to have. That type of India should we have, where the poorest section of the society could raise their voice. They could have a effective voice in the country. That type of constitution we should have. An India in which there shall be no higher class and no lower class of people. A country where there is no chance of differences in the name of high class society and low class society. All are equal. This principle shows the concept of equality, the vision of Mahatma Gandhi about equality. An India in which all communities shall live in perfect harmony. It means there should not be any sort of discrimination among the people in the name of caste, creed, religion, sex and place of birth. This was the vision of Mahatma Gandhi. There can be no room in such an India for the cause of untouchability. Students, you might have known, the society in India was caste-based. There was the feelings of untouchability prevailing in the society, where the lower class people were untouched by the upper class people. The lower class people were thought to be inferior. They seems to be a lower class person. That was the society which we had earlier. But Mahatma Gandhi, he was of the view that India should be free from this. You might have known, Mahatma Gandhi, for this reason, in order to remove untouchability from the country, he has led a revolution, founded organization, founded magazines, the Harijans. Then he led the revolution against the untouchability. Anti-untouchability league was formed by Mahatma Gandhi for this reason only. So he dreamed of an India where there will be no untouchability. Thereafter, or the cause of the intoxicating drinks and drugs, people are quite addicted with drugs. So that type of country we shouldn't have. We should have a country where the people will not willing to the cause of intoxicating drugs and drinks. And the most important thing is that women will enjoy the same rights as men. In British India, you might have seen, women had not got the opportunity. Not only in British India, prior to that also, women were deprived of their rights. They were thought to be an inferior class. The orthodoxian principles following in the country have divided the rights of the Indian women. But now we want to have a country where women should enjoy equal right as men. Then and there only I shall be satisfied with nothing else. It means all these principles, whatever it is there in our constitution, you might say equality, fraternity, justice, all these are there incorporated in the constitution. No matter, Mahatma Gandhi was not there as the member of the Indian Constituent Assembly. This was the visionary aspect of Mahatma Gandhi, and it was followed by different members who were there present in the Constituent Assembly. Thereafter, another great soul, the father of Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who played a key role in the making of the Constitution. Already in the previous class we have discussed B.R. Ambedkar. He is the chairman of the drafting committee. He prepared the Constitution for us. But he had a different understanding of how inequalities could be removed. This was the dream of India, where the principle of inequality should be removed. He often bitterly criticized Mahatma Gandhi. The view of Mahatma Gandhi and the view of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar sometimes opposite. They are having a different vision, contradictory to each other. That is why in the concluding speech of Indian Constituent Assembly, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar spelled out his own vision. What he has told? On 26th January 1950, we are going to enter a life of contradiction. Why he has told contradiction? That is what? In politics, we will have equality, and in social and economic life, we will have inequality. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, in politics, we will have equality. Yes, today we have. Right to vote, right to contest in the election, these principles are there today. And people are enjoying equal rights. But in terms of social and economic right, there will be inequality. And it is true also. Today also, inequality is prevailing in our society in case of social and economic life. In politics, we are recognizing the principle of one man, one vote, and one vote of one value. But in our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principle of one man, one value. No matter. In politics, we have given the right, given the opportunity for the people of concept of one person, one vote and one value, the principle of universal adult franchise. But are we giving these values? Have we adopted this concept, this vision, this value in our social and economic life? No. In our social and economic life, we have not given this, we have not adopted this concept of one person and one value. That is why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was of the view that on 26 January 1950, we are going to enter a life of contradiction. How long shall we continue to deny the equality in our social and economic life? This was a question raised by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the meeting, in his concluding speech of Indian Constituent Assembly. Like that, Jawaharlal Nehru, giving his famous speech to the Constituent Assembly at the stroke of midnight of August 15, 1947, he has spelled out his own vision about how our government should function, how our constitution should guide the next generation. And along with this, he has his own view of the different aspect of our life. So, all these visionary aspects of these great leaders have guided the Constitution of India. And that is why today also, we are following the same constitution after 70 years also. This is why it proves the sanctity of Indian constitution. Students, now we'll discuss about the philosophy of the constitution. Values that inspired and guided the freedom struggle formed the foundation of Indian democracy. Whatever the values we have got while fighting against the British domination. What values? That is, to fight together against the British domination. People from north to south, east to west, irrespective of their religion, caste, language, they came together and fought against the British domination. That shows the unity of India. So that is the values that has inspired us and guided the freedom struggle. That those values has formed the foundation of Indian democracy. That is represented in our Indian democracy. And these values are embedded in the preamble of the Constitution also. And these values also guide all the articles of Indian Constitution. Students, you might be wondering for what is articles? The Indian Constitutions consist of all those views and philosophy and principles that is in the form of articles. The Constitution begins with a short statement of its basic values. Earlier I have told you that is the preamble. It is the introductory documents which set the goal of the government. And this preamble is present there in various countries of the world. In the constitution of various countries of the world. And we have got this inspiration of keeping the preamble from the American model. And today, most countries in the contemporary world, they have chosen to begin their constitution with a preamble. See, before that we are discussing about the Constitution of India. Now you see the Constitution of America, the American model, which begins with the people of. And today, most of the contemporary countries, they are following this American model. Like your American model of constitution, the Constitution of South Africa also begins with "We the people of South Africa." And we the Indians also followed the same American model, that is, "We the people of India." Our preamble reads out, "We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation." In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, we do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Students, before some time, we are discussing about the values, path shown by the great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, and you see all the values are incorporated in our Constitution. That is, those are the guiding principles, values of Indian Constitution. That is equality, justice, socialist, secular, and it shows the importance of Indian Constitution also. Now, we will discuss all those guiding values one by one. Now, we are going to discuss the most important principles of our Indian constitutions. And it starts with we the people of India. Students, our great leaders, the member of the Constituent Assembly, they have accepted the American model and begins the constitution with the statement, we the people of India. It means what? It means the constitutions has been drawn up and enacted by the people, but not directly through their representatives. I have told you, the member of the Indian Constituent Assembly, they were elected by the member of the provincial legislature, and the member of the provincial legislature were elected by the people. It means the member of the Constituent Assembly, they were representing the nation as a whole. They have got the opportunity on behalf of the people of India. They have not got the opportunity by others. No one has given them opportunity. Rather, it was the people of this country have given them opportunity. They were not elected, not appointed, not selected by anybody else, not by a king or not by any outside power. Rather, it was the people of this country had given them opportunity to draft the constitution or prepare the constitution for us. That is why the introductory statement, that is preamble, begins with we the people of India. Thereafter, another important principle, sovereign. It means people have supreme right to make decisions on internal as well as external matter. Now we are not controlled by anybody else externally as well as internally. Here, the power is in the hand of the people. No external power can dictate the government of India. We are able to govern ourselves, not controlled by anybody else, internally also, externally also. That is the meaning of sovereignty. Socialist. Our constitution based on the principle of socialism. Here socialism relates to two most important concepts, that is equality, social equality and economic equality. And our Indian constitution based on both socio and economic equalities and worked to eradicate socio-economic inequalities from the country. Thereafter, secular. Now, the people of our country have complete freedom to choose, to profess, to propagate any religion they like. There is no state religion. That is the most important part of secularism. There is no state religion. People are free to profess, propagate any religion they like. And there is no restriction also. All the religions are getting equal respect. This is the principle of secularism. Thereafter, democratic. Now, we are having a democratic form of government where people have the right to elect their government. At the same time, people have the right to contest in the election also. And the government is accountable to the people. The most important principle of democracy. The government is accountable to the people. And also the government runs according to the basic principle, basic rules and regulation. That is what we have called constitution. That shows the democratic system of a country. Thereafter, republic. Republic means what? The country where the head of the state as well as the head of the government is an elected person, not a hereditary one. In our India, our Prime Minister, the head of the government, our President, the head of the state, both are elected by the people. President is indirectly and Prime Minister is directly. That is how it shows the principle of republic. There are many countries of the world. Take the example UK, United Kingdom. They have adopted a democratic system. But England is not a republic because the head of the state, that is monarch, is an hereditary one. But in our country, head of the state as well as the head of the government are elected by the people. Justice. Citizens cannot be discriminated on the ground of caste, religion, gender. Social inequalities have to be reduced. Government should work for the welfare of all sections of the society. And there is no chance of discrimination among the people in the name of caste, religion and gender. Thereafter, liberty. There is freedom for the people. People have got the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, move throughout the territory of India, profess, propagate any religion they like. This is what we have today. You see, count those days when the Indians have divided of their rights. Think about the people of South Africa. They were discriminated. They have no right to vote. But those days have gone. Now we have got freedom. Freedom of speech and expression, one of the most guiding principles of the Indian Constitution. Thereafter, equality. Equality shows all are equal before the law. There is no discrimination among the people on the ground of caste, religion, sex, color, place of birth. There is no chance of untouchability also. The guiding principle of the visionary aspect of Mahatma Gandhi is followed here in this concept of equality. Fraternity. All of us should behave as if we are the member of the same family. And that is what we have learned from the moment of freedom struggle. The freedom struggle have taught us the principle of fraternity. I was telling you, people from all sections of society, from north to south, east to west, irrespective of their religion, language, caste, creed, people have come together and fought against the British domination. That shows the fraternity of this nation. So, these are the guiding principles of Indian Constitution. Our Constitution is not merely a statement of values and philosophy. It is not a concept of values only, a statement of philosophy only. It is also embedding these values into institutional arrangements. All those values which are there, the most important, the guiding principle of Indian Constitution has embedded in our institutional arrangement also. And this is what the Constitution of India is about, these arrangements. And our Indian Constitution is a very long and detailed document. It provides each and every concept regarding the values of the citizen, the working of the government, the efficiency of the people, so that our country can work, can run in a proper way. Therefore, it needs to be amended quite regularly to keep it updated. In order to provide basic philosophy, in order to provide basic arrangement, a constitution need to be updated according to the changing time. The constitution was drafted in 1949. Today we are in 2020. Many things has been changed. So according to the changing time, we need to keep ourselves updated with the present situation. That is why the concept of amendment is there in the Constitution, so that we can keep ourselves updated according to the changing needs, aspiration of the people. Because in a democratic country, needs, expectation, aspiration of the people gets changed always. That is why, according to the changing condition, the need of the time, we have to keep ourselves updated with the present scenario. So, we can update ourselves as well as our constitution with the changing time. So, they made provision to incorporate changes from time to time. That is why the process of amendment is there in the constitutions. The constitution describes the institutional arrangement in a very legal language so that it should not be misinterpreted. If you will read the constitution for the first time, it will be very difficult for you to get it understand. People, those who are the first timer, who are going to read about the constitution, it is a very difficult task for them to understand. Like any other constitution, the Indian constitutions lay down the procedure of choosing a person to govern the country. It clarifies how a government should be formed, how the people should elect their leaders, and who should have what power to take a decision and how much power to take a decision also. Who should have power to take decision and how much power should have to take decision. It is already mentioned in the constitution. That is why Indian constitution is a long and detailed constitution in the world. And at the same time, it puts a limit to that also. Limit to that by providing some rights to the citizen that cannot be violated. The rights of the citizens cannot be violated. So this is what our Indian Constitution is, and our guiding principle of Indian Constitution are all about. Students, in the next chapters, the remaining chapter of your class 9, we will discuss about all those institutional arrangements that has been provided in the constitutions. Now, it is the time to test ourselves. First one, match the following. In one side you see Motilal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, Rajendra Prasad, Sarojini Naidu. Another side, President of the Constituent Assembly, Member of the Constituent Assembly, Chairman of the Drafting Committee, and prepared a constitution in India in 1928. So we have to match with one another so that it will be a perfect statement. Motilal Nehru prepared a constitution for India in 1928. B.R. Ambedkar, Chairman of the Drafting Committee. Rajendra Prasad, President of the Constituent Assembly, and Sarojini Naidu, Member of the Constituent Assembly. It is a perfect match. Next question is, what is preamble? Preamble is the introductory documents which explain the goals of the government. We are discussing, while discussing about the preambles, I have told you the definition of preamble. That is the introductory statements, documents which explain the goals of the government. The third one, it is in the form of MCQ, multiple choice question. Mahatma Gandhi's vision about the Indian Constitution was published in which magazine? That is option A, Discovery of India, option B, Young India, option C, New India, and option D, Indian Gazette. So the correct option is B, that is Young India magazine, published in 1931, where he has spelled out his own vision of Indian Constitution. So students, with this, in this chapter, we have discussed all about the courses of journey, what it has been taken by the people of South Africa to prepare the constitution for them, as well as the people of India who had also prepared the constitution of India for us. So with this, we have completed the chapters constitutional design. Thank you.